Welcome back to On This Day. Yes, on this day in history. I do love it. So glad that we're keeping going for you. So do support it, do share it, do like it and tell everybody, because I think this is fun looking back into the world of history that some of us have actually lived through, some of us forgotten about. I love this lady who said, I watched American Bandstand, Neil, you're making me feel old. That's not the aim, honestly. It's just to simply share a lot of wonderful memories that we've all gone through, and some, as I say, that people have actually lived through. So on this day, let me point out that one of my favourite all-time comedians sadly left this planet way back in 1957. Oliver Hardy. Yes, sadly we lost him. What a giant of comedy he was, though. Laurel and Hardy, you know, were going through a bit of a bad patch by the time the 50s had arrived. They'd been on a few tours over here in the United Kingdom to great success, but they couldn't get a brand new movie deal. And this was all down to the change in face of comedy. So nothing's new, is it? Their nemesis at the time were Abbott and Costello, who were doing incredibly well on the big screen. And apparently movie bosses felt, well, there's already one comedy duo pulling in the money. Can Oliver Hardy and Stan Laurel again do the same? They felt not. And so sadly, Stan and Ollie really remained in the doldrums movie-wise. But look at a collection of laughter that they left behind. Still makes me laugh today, and as I often say, if you're feeling a bit fed up, put the sketch on where he goes to visit Ollie in hospital. Funny every single time. But what else happened on this day? Well, way back in 1888, and don't tell me you don't remember this, I'm only pulling your leg obviously, the first of the dramatic murders committed by the so-called Jack the Ripper took place in London's East End. There's been numerous books, numerous films all about the so-called Jack the Ripper, but did you know he was never actually caught? Apparently close, but never actually. Sadly though, Jack the Ripper was allowed to roam free for what we believe was the rest of his natural life. What a story though, why has it really fascinated people for so many years? Now, way back in 1782, George Washington ordered the creation of the very first US military decoration, the Badge of the Military Merit. Today it's called the Purple Heart, which was later awarded to 3 Revolutionary War soldiers for bravery in action in 1782. Now, if like me you like nothing more than a bit of a radio listen, way back in 1955 we have the very wonderful people from Tokyo Telecommunications Engineering. They were the precursor to Sony, which began selling its very first transistor radios in Japan. Really, they took off in the 60s, didn't they? Late 50s, 60s. You weren't anybody if you weren't seen out with your transistor radio. Tell you what though, do you remember the nickname? We used to call it Tranny, didn't we? Wouldn't be able to do that now, would you? And also, let's just take you back in time, because on this day in 1965, 57 years ago, Herman's Hermits, yes, do you remember them? Peter Noone and Herman's Hermits. He was #1 with I'm Henry VIII, I Am. Oh yes. I mean, you know, when you think about it, a novelty record, sold millions around the world, and still incredibly popular today. And finally, one for the more modern of us generations. Way back in 1971, the Bee Gees, that's right, had a massive #1 hit with How Can You Mend a Broken Heart. Did you know, by the way, the Bee Gees are one of the most covered bands after the Beatles in the world of music? Had so much success. Don't know about you, I totally adore the Bee Gees. You're up to date with all your breaking news on That's What Happened on This Day in the world of news. As ever, as I often say, thanks so much for watching. Do let me know your thoughts and comments below. Please like and share with everyone, and let's get this brand new feature liked by a lot more. It's so much fun to do. Thanks so much for watching.